Bluegrass Jam Along is proud to be sponsored by Collins Guitars and Mandolins, each and every one built from the sound up in Austin, Texas. This episode is also brought to you by Peghead Nation, the home of roots music instruction. If you want to improve your playing, join me and thousands of other pickers getting better every day at pegheadnation.com. Hi, this is Matt, and you're listening to Bluegrass Jam Along, the podcast for anyone and everyone who loves bluegrass. Hey everybody, welcome back to another week of Bluegrass Jam Along. This is your Bluegrass Briefing for Monday, August 5th, 2024. Just a quick recap on stuff that has been on the podcast recently. I put up a Food for Thought episode last week based on a Dolly Parton quote that I'd read. Just a short episode, just sort of highlighting one thing that's been in my head. And yeah, I haven't done one for a while, and I just like to do them now and again. Just a little kind of, little brain teaser, kind of let this lodge in your brain and wander around with it for a while kind of episode. So check that out if you haven't. But there is plenty of good stuff coming on the podcast soon. I've been busy interviewing. This week, coming up on Wednesday, I've got an interview with Becky Buller about her fantastic record, Jubilee, which I've been very much enjoying. Following that, the week after, got a interview with Rebecca Frazier about her new record, Boarding Windows in Paradise, which is coming out in September, which is superb as well. So both really cool conversations. I think you will enjoy. I very much did. What else has been going on? I've categorised some of the interviews on the website. If you go to bluegrassjamalong.com and check out the interviews page, you may notice there's a few more categories. So things where there's been a few different interviews that fall into a particular theme, I've pulled them all together to make them easier to find. So for example, everything that is about Tony Rice is now pulled together into one category. All the guitar related stuff, all the mandolin related stuff. Just go and have a look and check it out, and it might make it a little bit easier to help you find some bits and pieces. I do hope so. We'll crack on with the episode. Thanks as always to Bryan Sutton for the theme tune. I'm never going to get bored of saying that. And yeah, usual stuff. If you need anything, go to bluegrassjamalong.com. All the stuff is there. But let's crack on and get on with the news and announcements. There's quite a bit to fit in this week. And this first section of the podcast is what we call Church Street News. And the first bit is to point out that IBMA have announced the next venue for World of Bluegrass. Raleigh is hosting the last one of its run this year. And they've announced that Chattanooga has been selected as the new home of IBMA World of Bluegrass for the next 3 years, 2025, 26 and 27. And the first one will take place September 16th to 20th, 2025. I'll stick a link in the show notes so you can go and read the full kind of release and all the info about that. But yeah, really interesting. I'll be in Raleigh this year. So it'd be cool to be there for the final year of that. But a nice, interesting new chapter kicking off in Chattanooga next year. And hopefully at IBMA I'll get to chat to somebody from IBMA about the move and what they've got coming up and kind of what's happening next. But that's exciting new news. Second thing, Lessons with Marcel. A while ago I put something in the briefing that Marcel had put out a book of Tony Rice tabs. He's done another book of transcriptions for Molly Tuttle's City of Gold, like all the breaks off of that record. It's an unofficial thing. You can go and download it completely free, but you can also make a contribution to Lessons with Marcel to help him keep running that. His transcriptions are great, actually. The Tony Rice ones are better than any others I've seen. I haven't seen the Molly one yet, but go and have a look. I will stick a link in the show notes. Go and check out Marcel's book of breaks from Molly Tuttle's City of Gold album. Third thing is Peghead Nation have a new course, Folk and Bluegrass Songs for Fiddle with Lauren Ryu. I'll stick a link in the show notes for that as well. Their courses are all the courses of theirs I've seen have been great, so I have no doubt this one will be the same. Go and check that out. And final bit of news, which I guess could fall under Grass's new, but it falls under all the sections today, as you'll find out as we go. Billy Strings has a new album out called Highway Prayers on September the 27th. It's co-produced with John Bryan, who did the Punch Brothers Anti-Fogmatic album. It's done all sorts, including some of the Amy Mann albums that I absolutely love. Bit different, something different from Billy. Looking forward to hearing this. But yeah, Billy has a new album out in September. So, IBMA's moved to Chattanooga. The Lessons with Marcel Molly Tuttle book, Peghead Nation's new folk and bluegrass songs course, and a new Billy Strings album. Lots of news this week. Let's crack on with the next section, which is The Grass is New. And this is The Grass is New, which is new releases, and again contains some Billy Strings, because the first single from the record he's got coming out September, Leadfoot, is up on the streaming services now. Go and check it out. I've stuck a link in The Grass's Mostly New playlist. Go and have a listen. It's really interesting. Billy plays all the instruments apart from the drums on it. He plays bass, banjo, guitar, steel guitar. There is also a really cool, interesting, funny video for this, which I will stick a link in the show notes to as well. I'm not going to spoil it for you. You're going to have a watch. It's quite different. I think you'll enjoy that. But yeah, Billy Strings' new single, Leadfoot, is out now. There's also a new single from New Dangerfield. I mentioned them fairly recently on the podcast. They've got a new single called Put No Walls Around Your Garden, which is really cool. I've been listening to that this morning. That is in the playlist too. Go and check that out. And a new album from Norman Blake. Didn't know this was coming. Spotted this last week. Pilgrimage to Rising Fawn, which lots and lots of guests on this, including Nancy Blake, John Cowan, Jerry Douglas, Jamie Johnson, loads of people. So go and check that out. I've had a brief listen and I put a track in the playlist, but I haven't had a proper listen yet. I haven't had time. But that is it. New Billy Strings single, Leadfoot, new Dangerfield single, Put No Walls Around Your Garden, and a new record from Norman Blake. So lots of cool stuff this week. Let's move on to Scroll On Buddy. And Scroll On Buddy is just some bits and pieces I've seen on the social channels that I thought you might be interested in. I've noticed Green Mountain Bluegrass Festival, August 15th to the 18th in Manchester, Vermont. Just been looking at their lineup, looks really cool. Watch House, Crooked Still, Travelling McCourys, Aoife O'Donovan, Noam Pikelny and Friends. So that was sort of on my radar as a cool looking festival anyway. But then they posted that the GMBR All-Star set this year is Chris Eldridge, Daniel Kimbrough, Caleb Clowder, BB Bonus and Christian Sedelmeier, and they are going to cover the Bluegrass Band's Bluegrass album Volume 1 in its entirety. Now that's going to be fun. Go and have a look at that. That should be really cool. And the other thing this week, got Rebecca Frazier on the podcast next week talking about her record. There's a new single out from that called High Country Road Trip, which I just love. It's such a cool record. It's in the playlist. Do go and listen to that. But she's also put out a video for that. So I'll stick a link in the show notes and you can go and check it out. It's a great track off a great record. And I'm looking forward to you all hearing it because I have absolutely been loving it. Final bit is just what's in my ears this week. And I've been listening to Becky Buller's Jubilee record a lot in advance of interviewing her, which is so cool. Really, really enjoyed it. Looking forward to sharing the interview on Wednesday. Been listening to Rebecca's record, Boarding Windows in Paradise, which I think you might have gathered by now I quite like. And I've also been listening back to Mark O'Connor's Markology record from 1978, which I don't really know that well, and I keep meaning to listen to, and boy is it good. I've stuck a track from that in the playlist as well. Go and have a listen to that. If you don't know it, I'm sure lots of you do. I'm a little bit late to the party on that one. But that is it for this week. All the usual stuff applies. Please do recommend this podcast to your friends. If you know people who like bluegrass, if you know people who like string band music, if you know people who just like good podcasts about music, pick an episode you think they like, send it to them, share it on your Facebook groups, tell your friends, tell your granny, tell who you like. But if you know people who like this kind of music, please share it because it really helps me out. That is it. I will see you on Wednesday with the Becky Buller episode, which I'm really looking forward to sharing. That was such a cool conversation. Have a fabulous week. I'll see you next time, and happy picking.
Bluegrass Jam Along is proud to be sponsored by Collings Guitars and Mandolins, making some of the finest guitars and mandolins in the world since the 1970s. Visit collingsguitars.com and find out why.